Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Tuesday, March 17th. I am joined by Matt Schoolfield at Schools_01 and Boomy at BoomyTCF on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at ZLilja, LILJATCF. I am Zach Lilja, if you were all wondering. You can follow the main pages at typical_Chicago, Instagram, Facebook. Type in typical Chicago fans and follow us on there. Go on to YouTube. Type in typical Chicago fans. Subscribe to the YouTube page. We put all of our TCF morning shows on there. We also put our podcast out on there. We got a big guest coming on our podcast that will be coming out here in the next few days. Me and Boomy will be doing an interview tomorrow night, so be looking out for that. Also, we put all of our TCF morning shows on our podcast. So go to wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker. Type in typical Chicago fans. If it's Apple, subscribe, rate, review. And if it's Spotify, follow, give us a review. If it's anywhere else, do what you got to do there. Thank you to the Muddy Otter. Boys, we don't have a lot of sports going on here. So yesterday I watched Mitch carve the wood that he would use for maybe making a bowl or something for about 20 minutes or so. We had a conversation through the comments, but I liked it. It was kind of cool to see how it all works out. It's a lot messier than I thought with all the wood shavings and everything. But, yeah, that's what I did yesterday. They were in the Muddy Otter's lab, is what I always say. So if you want to find the products that they make in that lab, go to themuddy.otter.com or go to their Instagram or Facebook page. Follow them on there. Hit them up if you got a custom idea for them. Like I said, they make pottery and woodworking. And Mitch has also threw around on the live video he was doing on Facebook was there may be a pottery woodwork combo coming up here, so a big The Muddy Otter special coming up here. But again, that is themuddy.otter.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
And Zach, I know it's belated and we haven't had a show since it, but happy birthday to Mitch. He's been on the show. He's the owner of Muddy Otter, like we've talked about. So happy belated birthday to Mitch.
And happy birthday to the Muddy Otter. I think last week was their 1 year anniversary of the Muddy Otter. So shout out to Mitch and the Muddy Otter. And then also to Hannah, who his wife that does the pottery. Like I said, a little combo with the little woodworking pottery action here. I'm excited to see what that's all about. Thank you to the Muddy Otter. Also to Score Trader. Go to the Apple Store and download the Score Trader app and make an account. It's free to play. Boomy, what's the political action going on here?
Hey. Today is voting day for everyone in Illinois. Get out, find out where your local polling place is. Even if you haven't registered to vote, I believe you still can and vote provisionally. But it'll literally probably take 20 minutes max. I know my precinct is a rural precinct. I literally spend less than 5 minutes in there. Get out and vote. We have the Illinois primary today, Tuesday, March 17th. So get out and vote. There's a couple other states coming up. We're down to Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. So it's a great way to still stay involved, man. And obviously we got the primaries going on, but we'll have the Democratic National Convention in July 13th, I believe, if that's correct. So get on there, go to the Apple App Store, download the Score Trader app, create an account, watch a YouTube video for like 45 seconds and get in on the action. It's not too late. So like I said, it's super easy. It integrates news and everything going on in politics. So if you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world, you need to be, first of all, with everything going on in the world, news-wise with the coronavirus and everything else, but also politics and how the different politicians are handling this with what's going on. So get in on it, do it now, create an account, follow them on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube, follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just do it. It's super simple. You're probably going to be quarantined at some point. So get in on it, have some fun, eat up a little bit of your day.
Boomy, I have a question for the voting you were talking about with all the restrictions and stuff going into the next few days. In Illinois, at least, how will the polling work?
Yep. So A couple precincts, I know locally, Ottawa and a couple other places have moved their precinct. So you do need to double check that your precinct is where it always has been, and you can do that online. But for the most part, it's just taking precautions. Wash your hands. I guarantee they're going to have hand sanitizer out there. Remember your social distancing and all that good stuff. But just get in, and they said that they will have a pen. At least from what I read, they will have a pen for everyone that wants one. They can have their own pen. You can just take it. You don't have to use anybody else's. And if you've never voted before, it's very simple. They will hand you the ballot. And I'm pretty sure that the people working will be taking extra precautions to use hand sanitizer between every ballot they hand out. And then you basically take it, you vote, and they'll probably be wiping down the polling booths that you go into. And then when you insert your ballot, you do that by hand anyway. So just take your precautions, wash your hands. If you're sick, obviously you can sit this one out. I never say to sit out an election, but if you're sick and think you have flu-like symptoms or any of the symptoms that they've talked about, keep your butt at home. All right. This is just a primary election. You need to be safe and healthy to vote in the general election in November, but take your precautions, social distancing and all that good stuff, but you should be okay. Get it. And they're going to do their best to get you in and out and not have you standing around the polling place all day.
Go to the Apple Store, download Score Trader, make an account.
Imagine if we had a caucus though instead of a primary, Zach, where we all have to go meet in a gym and like you get in your groups and then you vote your amount of delegates. What a train wreck that would be right now.
Be changed within that.
Yes, absolutely. They'd probably have to turn it from a caucus into a primary if I had to make an assumption. But yeah, it's just wild to think about. Like, what was that, a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months? Iowa let us off, and theirs was a caucus where everybody gets in a gym in a local community and makes their votes and does their bidding. It'd be hilarious to see how they would the Democratic Party would handle that right now.
Like I said, thank you to the Muddy Otter and Score Trader for being the two sponsors of the TCF Morning Show. But boys, let's get into it. Like we said, I think it's the last 3 shows. This will be the 3rd show that we've let off with this, our coronavirus worry level. I'm not saying as much as how worried you are about what coronavirus can do to you or the side effects or whatever, or how it makes you feel. I'm actually just kind of going with, at this point, what is your worry level of your surroundings, of everything that's closing down, everything that's not going to be going on for apparently months on end? I'm talking about sports, our favorite thing to watch sports, go play sports. Like, I don't even know what's going to happen with, like, I've been thinking about, like, what slow pitch softball, that's months away. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you don't know any, like, at this point, you can't assume anything. Like, nothing is up in the air. Like, nothing is, like, nothing is off the table. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I didn't think in case of all sports. Like,
I didn't think that, like, the public gatherings, that stuff was going to come, and I obviously, like, we do this for the betterment, and as we were talking about earlier, to make sure that the elderly don't get sick. And, I have a pretty good immune system, and I say that, I'm not trying to, be Mr. Tough Guy here and knock on wood, I don't catch anything, but I'll be me personally. I'm sitting at like a 55, 58-ish range right now. I think, and the reason that is, a lot of people look at the things that they're closing as like something to be worried about. I think this is the proper step, and I think I'd rather take these precautions with everything getting canceled than to just fly by the seat of our pants and just hope and cross our fingers that this doesn't, I think we're taking the right steps, and that makes me, a little less worried. And yeah, it sucks, right? Bars and restaurants are closed. Everything's got to be takeout and all the gatherings of less than 50 people. And it sucks, but the fact of the matter is I think we're handling this way better than countries like Italy and, different places. Spain right now is having a big boom in cases. I think we're handling this, the preventative. So that makes me feel a little bit better. So I'm going to say like a 50. Let's go 57 right
Matt,
now. What about you guys?
Mine is extremely high.
Oh,
So we'll go somewhere in the 85 range probably for myself. Um, it's not really for my own super concerned. If I were to get it, I think I'd trust that based on everything that's being said that I'd be able to handle it. Same for my wife, and I think even my kid, being she's only 2, it seems like all the numbers are saying that kids at that age are pretty resilient to it. So that it's at least confident that hopefully everyone's right there, and it's not going to be a super big issue for us. But my wife's in healthcare; she's a nurse, so she's going to be exposed to it. She's going to be
yeah,
dealing with
definitely.
a lot. Seeing it, the effect on healthcare as a whole, and what that's going to do in her line of nursing. She's also a nursing student as well for a postmaster degree. So, so it's one of those things we're going to be heavily involved, I think. And she's not like currently working in a hospital; she works in an office setting, but could be called to a hospital if things start getting bad. So those are the kind of
For
things that
sure.
are making my worries, like for my personal self, just my own situation, things like that. But society-wise, the things that are closing down are they're day-to-day parts of our livelihoods.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we have a new normal right now. Like we're not having movie theaters. We're not having Friday night fish fries. We're not having the poker games at bars or some dude's Walmart or
VFW
something
and
like
stuff like
that.
that.
Exactly. Those kind of staples of just what we do day to day. Going out to bars and clubs with our friends and family and whatever, and just all those things. Not and just being able to sit around and watch a game, sit around and shoot the shit about like our favorite teams, and it just those like just things that just like I don't know. Somebody, I think it was Sylvie today on the radio, said something on AM 1000 about how anybody who complains about the 82 game schedule in basketball and NHL, you know what? Shut up, because we would
Yeah.
take any of
Oh,
those meaningless games we
any
could right
take
now.
any
We
basketball
Yeah.
would
game
take
right now.
we would take any. I would take any Calgary Flames versus Edmonton Oilers hockey game that I could get my hands on right now.
Yes.
And we're like 5 days into this.
Big
at the end
Cat
of the
said
day.
that.
So we still got a long
Big
way
Cat
to
at some
go.
point every year, like a few teams should play a game that no one can say anything that ever happened during
Yeah.
it, and like now if there was no sports,
Yeah,
game,
it's
we
like
just throw
hack
yeah.
into the vault and pull
They just
it
like
out.
throw boom. Here's a game that you've never seen before.
It's like a special season
Yeah.
or something. No, like, I just like there's just so many of those things that we just kind of almost took for granted that are just like gone for now, and we don't know when they're
Now,
coming back.
I got a question for you, man. Like with all the precautions that's just like I know personally, like, and this is probably going to be, I don't wash my hands as regularly as I should. I'm more of a hand sanitizer guy. Do you think that like society being aware of all of this is for the betterment, and maybe that's kind of where I sit. Like I feel like everyone's aware of the situation, so maybe everybody's being a little more precautious, and I've definitely seen less and less people out in public. Like I said, I went to the gym tonight, and there was literally, I mean, it was 7 o'clock, and there was nobody there. Do you think that might play into maybe helping slow this down?
Well, I think the one thing that you said that I really agreed with was where you said that we're taking the steps now that we probably should have
Oh
taken.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're doing those preventative measures and things like that where Italy wasn't doing those things soon enough, and it got too late for
And
them,
even-
and that's why they're in the mess where they're in. We don't want to be there, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
We don't want to be where hospitals are overflowing and doctors and nurses are
Setting
having
up
to decide
triage
who's living and who's dying.
gym.
You don't want to get to that
Matt,
level. So these are the things that we got to do, and
Me and Boomy were talking about this before the show. That like I understand, or maybe I don't know if you were on or if you hear me say this. If I understand, like, yes, you can be mad at everyone that went out this week, and we shouldn't have gone out. We should have listened, this and that. But if they were so worried about it, they should have just closed the bars like Friday morning, and it would have never been a problem. You know what I mean? Like I understand you want to be like, hey, people, can I trust you enough not to go? But like when I don't know, it's just.
Well,
It's
I
just
agree
tough.
with you. It's one of those things you almost have to make real
Yeah.
for people,
And
and now
You
things
almost
are
have to
getting
save
real.
society from itself.
And I really do think that like what happened this weekend is going to help. Like it's going. It finally showed people, hey, now we got to close down the bars and restaurants because we can't stay inside or at least stay away from large
to take care of
groups.
themselves.
Like
Then
then there's that.
I mean, it was kind of the perfect storm for that too, with it being like decent weather and a good
and
portion
St.
of the
Patrick's
country.
Day weekend
St.
is
Patrick's Day
always
weekend, all that kind of stuff. So it was like a perfect storm for like the kind of just the bad just to be made a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, like I don't like fault people that went out. But it's also one of those things like this is a real fucking thing, man. Like this is no joke. This is not a joke, man. Like this is you wipe out what they're saying anywhere from 14 to 15% of people over the age of 70 who catch this.
Yeah,
that's a lot of damn people, dude. That's a lot of people. That's devastating to our country, to our economy. That is a crushing blow, and you can't.
Well, even like think about this.
Start extrapolating that worldwide over, and think about this. This virus was found in December, man. That's not a long time, and it's already doing the kind of devastation it is. Whereas like the flu virus, people are citing those numbers and sheer volume of what that's done. That was over a long, long period of time.
All you have to say is this. It's literally shut pretty much everything down.
It's shutting the world down.
Other than they have like order out from places, certain places.
That's the one thing. I'm glad you said that, Zach. I'm glad you said that because that's the one thing I really think we need to do is like. I think all of us have a small part, whether we can, as long as we're working, as long as we're still have our jobs and have what we've maintained so far, is go out to dinner, get carry out at these restaurants, help keep these other businesses in our community because they're gonna need it like we are, and so like that's kind of the cool thing about like what America has kind of been built on is when shits happen, people adapt. Business owners they can't have dine-in service, they've never had carry out, they've never had online ordering. Poof, a week later they have it all, and now they've got a new facet of their business. So when shit does get better, they've already made their business that much more capable of all around. People, as long as these businesses can adapt to the situation, they still can probably stay afloat if we all give them the help that they need. As much as anything, if you have a bar that you go to for food once a week, then just hit that same bar for a meal once a week. You know what I mean? Do carry out. They'll appreciate it. It'll be a little piece of like normalcy too. And I think that the mental side of this too is going to take a lot of people. Cabin fever is about to set in for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, you made a good point about like the healthcare system because like I was talking to my dad about this, and like we have a local hospital here in Mendota. It used to be called Mendota Hospital. Now it's OSF St. Francis or something along those lines. But they only have like 35 beds in the whole hospital. Now, if you think about that and the numbers that are getting thrown out, if 1% of Mendota's population gets the coronavirus, that's 70 people. That's just 1%. That's not even enough beds for the 1% of people that's why we're trying to slow.
If you get it, you have to be quarantined at the hospital.
Not necessarily.
No, not necessarily at the hospital. You can. That's the thing too. Is don't even if you have it or you suspect that you have it, they're saying don't go to the hospital.
Yes.
Call your doctor. They'll assess you over the phone. We're at that point where we should have been testing weeks ago. But it's here. It's here and it's everywhere. So we need to just start reacting a little bit more than just like trying to document sheer numbers, and we just need to protect the population by doing that and staying inside. If you have it, if you have those symptoms, stay home. Everyone's going to be cool. You're not going to lose your job now if you're sick. You're like doing your company a favor if you stay sick from work at this point. So, nobody's going to give you a hard time for that kind of stuff. Or if they should, they got bigger problems to deal with. But
you probably don't want to be working at a place like that anyway.
You got that right too. You got that absolutely right.
Oh yeah. So I would say we got different levels right now of like coronavirus worry level, just because.
I don't want to seem like I'm being ignorant to this.
No, what I mean is, you are the Boomy's just married, just him and his wife. Then there's Matt is married, and then the kid, and I'm single. So I have, like you said, there's different worry levels in the fact that like I said, Matt's got something family's actually got to worry about, and then Boomy's got, like you said, a wife he's kind of got to worry about, and then it's just me, and then it's like one of those things you're not worried about like myself. I'm worried about like I wouldn't say my parents because they're young enough,
right? But our grandmas and
grandparents,
70s,
or just any older person in general that you see, it's like you just don't want to be like.
I felt terrible. I saw my grandma the other night, and I didn't want to hug her goodbye. I didn't want to take any
People always
risk,
say,
you know,
get
with
out
all
of the
the
house,
kids
get
I'm
out of
around
the
and
house,
stuff
go
like that.
do something. And now you're telling people, no, actually stay inside and do nothing. Like,
Yeah.
I went to my in-laws tonight, and my in-laws are older, and my father-in-law's had some health issues over the years, but they're always the kind that whenever they go to the store, they buy like 100 things for their kids, and my wife being a benefactor with that, they'll like buy diapers and stuff like that. Well, they bought all this stuff last week for us, and now I started getting a little worrisome, like that they're going to start locking down when and where people could go, things like that. So I decided, hey, I'm going to go after work today, run up there. It's about an hour drive to get up to their house. So I get up there, and like I just had to like grab the boxes from them and just kind of turn it. But I'm like, they're like, oh, do you want to come in? I'm like, no, I don't, because I don't want to be the one that brings it in, because I can't
You're like,
do
I
it.
do, but my better sense tells me.
Yeah, and so I sat there and talked to her parents for a minute outside, and it's just so awkward. It's just like it feels like empty. You know what I mean? Like it's
you're always so used to like, hey,
so weird.
Like your grandparents
I'll come in,
or
I'll
anybody,
have dinner
like, hey,
with
go give
them
them
or something, or
go
have
give them
like
a hug, goodbye.
have dessert, whatever.
It's like, no,
it's
actually,
like a
now
transaction.
I
It's like a business
can't.
transaction.
I actually can't now.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
You can just sum this up pretty much as just very weird time. Very weird time right now.
For sure.
Let's move on to something that
it's a new normal, man. That's the only thing I
maybe
can
something
say. It's totally
that
new
at least
normal.
brightened my day. NFL free agency got hot, got going today. Right before we started recording the show, Stephon Diggs got traded to the Buffalo Bills for, what did you guys say?
It's like
first, a fifth, a sixth, and like another, like a fourth or fifth maybe next year.
That's a good trade.
That's crazy.
You get value from him.
But real quick, Zach, when we transition from coronavirus and we finally get to talk about NFL, it's like when we need the old money line drop in the Monday Night Football the theme or something there. Just mix it in. Just get the energy going. It's football, baby. We finally have something we can talk about sports wise. A little bit of positivity in our lives.
I've never been so excited for NFL free agency in my life.
Free agency. We got Jimmy Graham, baby. God, it's a horrible signing, and I'm excited.
2 years,
we got something.
16 mil. Not the greatest signing.
You see how much money the Bears have tied up in tight ends with Burton?
Yeah, Bears have 11 tight ends on contract.
Hey, we're trying to figure
off, Zach.
We're trying to figure out what works. Like but I don't. The Jimmy Graham signing. It's not a good signing, but I'll take it. I'm not going to be mad about it. I'll move on.
It's something. It's something we can talk about.
The guy's played 16 games every year for the last 4 years, I think. And even as a Packers fan, like, my first reaction was, you guys can have him, because he just didn't produce as well as he was expected, or the way that he did in New Orleans or even Seattle. But the fact of the matter is he's consistent, and he's going to be there, and that's more than you guys can say about Trey Burton, and injury plagued this time in Chicago. So, exactly, that's the point. Like, at least he'll be there.
I'm excited.
The best.
I'm not really excited for any of it, because it's Jimmy Graham, and he kind of just been struggling the last few years. But I'll take a guy who's capable of being dominant, maybe.
Best ability is availability.
The best thing Jimmy Graham could bring over is Matt LaFleur's playbook. So just get copy of that stuff before you know all the plays. Right out the door and go. Shoot down 290 or shoot down 94 and get the Lake Forest, drop it off, and then get cut.
I
don't have a problem
with that either at all. We had DeAndre Hopkins going to the Arizona Cardinals for David Johnson and David Johnson's contract. And was there even a draft pick at all?
Yeah, like a fourth round pick.
Well, actually, we're showing some highlights right here on Sports Center of DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, a dominant wide receiver.
The biggest reaction to this was like, Bill O'Brien looks like an idiot, and like, I don't necessarily disagree, because like, it's not a good trade, but in the same breath, like, they also are a team that doesn't have a GM, and they have a guy who's trying to be the head coach, also trying to be the GM, and I agree.
But he took that on, though. He didn't know that when he got the job, though.
Well, no, that's not necessarily.
He knew that
true.
He was going to have more than just coaching. He knew he was going to have more than just coaching at some point.
He got hired 5 years ago. He just got named GM 3 months ago.
I think that I understand that, but if you're gonna be wanting to do that, then you should know throughout the process that like that you're gonna be working with that. I agree with you at first, but and then yes, you were talking about the whole he's been in the playoffs, but like what has the success been in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree there, but I mean, he's gotten them through the playoffs, and he takes a lot of flack, and he's still a guy who's been in the playoffs more than he hasn't.
That's every NFL coach that isn't successful in the playoffs is taking the same flack.
He ended up getting David Johnson a second and a fourth round pick.
Who am I thinking of from the Bengals?
All I'm saying is Arizona still kept their best running back.
Yeah. Arizona won that deal so much. I mean, David Johnson hasn't played well throughout the last few years in his contract.
At this point in time, David Johnson's too banged up. Kenny Drake looked outstanding last year.
Yeah.
You give Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, dude, that's going to be a dangerous team this year.
It's just the running back game is so crazy. It's just so hard to pinpoint the dominant running backs. I mean, you got Derrick Henry.
Screw, he didn't get paid yet.
Saquon, no, he got franchise tagged. Saquon. I'm trying to think of some other dominant running backs.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Get the fuck out of here with that, Aaron Jones.
Best running back in the division.
But really, I really be serious. Like dominant, like Le'Veon Bell.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. But he's a two-way. He's a two-way player too.
He does everything.
That's what I mean. Not a lot of running backs like him, but like even like you said, who was I just throwing out? Even like a Le'Veon Bell has kind of lost that like star power. Like you kind of realize with running backs, unfortunately, you may only get three or 4 years of dominance from them because it's just such a rough position to play.
Well, now, if I'm not mistaken,
Zeke Elliott, sorry.
Zeke. Derrick Henry too. I know one of you guys mentioned him.
Yeah, I said Derrick Henry.
That guy was a monster.
I said I would say he's the most dominant running back in the league right now.
When he's used correctly, clearly.
Did David Johnson get hurt a couple seasons ago?
He's been hurt throughout the last.
He hurt his wrist.
He's been hurt throughout the last few years.
He had a real bad wrist injury. He had a bad knee injury a couple years ago too. He's getting
blow his knee out 1 or 2 of the season 2 years ago.
He was a stud when he's been healthy, but it's just like it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen for him much anymore.
And then Teddy Bridgewater had been kind of linked to the Bears a little bit. I still don't know what's going on with that report. And then
I don't want Teddy Bridgewater.
Then they're looking at trading for either Nick Foles or Andy Dalton. So there's just a lot of quarterback speculation going on with the Bears right now. And all I can say is if you're looking for a quarterback, make sure you get one because you might shatter the confidence of the guy you have right now if you don't. You know what I mean? Like you're going out there and you're saying we're looking for a guy. We're not very confident in this guy. Don't swing and miss and come back with nothing.
Yeah,
like,
and Derek Carr looks like he is about to get moved because the Raiders just signed Marcus Mariota.
Yes. What do you guys think of that? Do you guys think that it'll be a good move for Mariota? Do you think that a change of scenery maybe will help him out a little bit as he was struggling and he got switched in for?
Yeah, he couldn't go back to Tennessee. They took everything away from him. I mean, rightfully so.
Rightfully so. I mean, Tannehill got his chance.
I mean, the kid is talented, but I mean, I think it is a little bit of an upgrade from Derek Carr, if I'm being honest.
We'll see.
I think Mariota sucks. I'm just going to say that. I've never been a big Mariota fan. I don't know. Talk about a guy who's always injured. He's always banged up.
He has underperformed his whole career.
He's never been that good. And I'm sorry, Ryan Tannehill he's been an okay quarterback. how does he just come in and just like light the world up if there's not like solid weapons there? Why couldn't Mariota do something remotely
I have a question.
close if he's that good?
But in the same breath, Matt, like Derek Carr, I'm looking at those two obviously in that situation, like Mariota going to Las Vegas. Like Derek Carr has felt the exact same way to me. We talk about underwhelming. I mean, he went to the playoffs
agree.
the second year and he stunk too.
But if Mariota's the answer to whatever your issue is, I don't think you're on the right track. That's all.
Yeah,
Mariota's not.
But my thing is, I kind of think the Titans did the thing backwards a little bit. I think they should have signed Derrick Henry, and franchise tagged Ryan Tannehill because, yeah, he had a good year, but I want Tannehill to prove to me more year.
You want a little proof?
It's not like he got.
I don't disagree.
Like they were saying,
with you. I don't
you were thinking maybe he get a team-friendly deal, maybe he'd do this and that. No, he took as much money as he was going to get. Like he got paid.
Well, especially Tannehill for 1 year. It's not like there's a lot of risk to it. You know, come back, do it again. Then hey, well then we'll pay you. You've done it for over a season.
I'm much more worried about Derrick Henry right now than I am Ryan Tannehill.
You're ready to go. Yeah, I mean, I think you need both. I think Derrick Henry, or I think Tannehill's going to need Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I like the move of franchise tagging Derrick Henry because it's one of those things. It's like, first of all, does it make you feel kind of disrespected by it, and also like, shouldn't you be more? I understand, like you said, you need Derrick Henry for Tannehill, but like, shouldn't you be kind of more worried about Derrick Henry? Like he's kind of, I like Tannehill, but like he's gonna have to prove it one more time for the contract he got at least. Like maybe if they would have given him like a 1 or 2 year deal, kind of like cheap a little bit, but he got paid.
Zach, but at the end of the day, me and you being the Bears fans here, I think I gotta say, like, of all the options that they've been talking out there, like Bridgewater was talked about this morning, and like you said, Foles, Dalton. Some of those other guys have been talked about. I'm not a Mitch guy, obviously. I'm not like a big like rah-rah rally behind it. But none of these guys really instill a whole lot of hope that they're going to win a Super Bowl with them either.
Absolutely.
So, like, what the fuck? Like, come on. There's one guy out there on the free agent market that would make me think, okay, maybe they got a shot to win a Super Bowl with just a free agent quarterback. And I'm sorry, it's Tom Brady. Yeah. That's it. Like if they got him and, you know, did whatever with Trubisky, if they dealt him for whatever they could, if, you know, caught him, whatever you had to do. But I don't know, you get Brady in there, great. That's the move to make if you're gonna upgrade a quarterback and really, you know, try to win a Super Bowl. But I don't know. I don't think any of these guys are gonna do it for me. Nick Foles, I guess, would probably be the one that I like the most, just because he's at least done it. You've at least seen him do it on the big stage and when it counts, and it's relatively recently when he won a Super Bowl. So I don't know. There's just none of these guys really instill a lot of confidence.
No, like I said, we'll just kind of have to see where it goes. We're just happy to have some sort of sports in our life right now, and that's how sad it's getting for sports fans. Is we're clinging on to anything that we can get. We got NFL free agency for the next few days. It's maybe going to keep it hot, but. Fellas, we're out of sports for about basketball saying they don't know, baseball saying maybe July. It could be literally we're in free agency of football. It could be
baseball said at minimum that the season won't start until
8 weeks.
They said at minimum
8 weeks.
Yeah, about early June. NBA is legitimately looking at starting the playoffs back in like July.
It's crazy how long we're gonna be without sports. But thank God, hey guys, thank God we do a sports show.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I mean? Like we'll keep it moving. I think I don't know what's gonna happen. You really can't predict anything that's gonna happen because I would say there's no sports left. Like darts, I saw darts was canceled. Like just the little stuff that they show, like it's still out there. Like everything's getting canceled.
UFC finally decided to cancel some stuff after they faced some backlash over their fanless fights last weekend. I saw
coronavirus going on. Yeah, you shouldn't have two guys fighting like that.
Yeah.
So
let's just rein it in. You know,
I think everyone's kind of realizing like this is real. We need to like listen up a little bit, straighten up a little bit. Look what we're doing. See how it's going. And you know what? I'm gonna have to say I'm exact.
Don't violate. When mom and dad ground you for a weekend, fucking be grounded for the weekend. Like I saw a great thing. It was like, you're not asked to do much. You're asked to sit on your couch.
Like your grandparents were told to go to war. You're asked to sit on
that's what it was.
Just stay home. You don't have to work. I guess some people do have to work, though. I can't say that. Just if you're not, just go home and hang out.
Yeah. And if you're healthy, go to work. Keep the economy going. Keep your businesses going. Keep
do
working.
Your part.
But also just be careful.
But you're right, Booby. This is kind of a war. This is a war on
coronavirus.
We gotta keep this economy pumping. We gotta keep working. We gotta keep buying shit. We gotta keep visiting restaurants. But stay healthy. Wash your shit. Wash your hands.
Man, let's hear that motivational
Clean up
speech
after
from Matt.
Let's cut that up. That's a promo.
Be civilized human beings, for God's sakes. Come on. It's not asking much.
It's not hard. Come on, guys.
Take care of yourself. Take care of your neighbors. Come on.
Listen to the man.
I don't got anything else.
He's like, I'm out.
Man. I can't drop the mic. It's attached to this damn arm or else it's
against the wall. Let's move on to stand-up comedy. Like I said, the last few days I've been without sports, so I've kind of gotten into stand-up comedy. Trying to cheer yourself up a little bit in this time of everywhere you turn, everything you look at is sad. Nothing's really going good right now, I would say. Everybody's, like I said, either quarantined or themselves, or some people are. If you do have the flu, you are pretty much like quarantined that way. And then with the bars and restaurants closing, not really much to do out in the world. No one really wants to go out and do anything right now. Well, like you said, it's a free pass to sit on your ass for the next about 2 months. So I've been watching a little bit of stand-up comedy. I don't know if you got. I know Boomy is a big stand-up comedy guy, a stand-up special guy. I don't know if Matt is so much. I really haven't gotten too much into it other than the past few days, and now I'm not hooked, but you just kind of like to watch different guys, especially Netflix. They got a lot of old ones on there. But Boomy, can I get let's just throw out like your top 3. Throw them at me.
All right. All-time top 3. Boy, you're going to make this one tough on me. All right, so first 2 are actually really easy for me. Dave Chappelle is 1A or B. I've been a big I got into Chappelle's show when I was like 12. I owned both the seasons on DVD. I love Dave Chappelle's stand-up. So that's an easy one. My second one, and this one might be a good one to get into because of with politics and the current events, I am a big Lewis Black fan. And he's kind of, if you don't know who he is, if you've ever seen the movie Accepted, he plays the principal in that movie, and just an all-around hilarious dude. I am a big fan of Lewis Black. Now, my third, that's going to be kind of tough. Right now, I'll give like a newer comic that has a lot of stuff on Netflix, and I think I'm going to go with Tom Segura.
He's hilarious.
I don't know what it is. I find the man hilarious. And I'll also I know you said top 3, but I got to give a 3A and B. Jim Jeffries is. I love his crudeness. You
got to really when you're looking. I've learned this over the last few days. If you're looking at stand-up comedy, you got to really pick and choose, because you may turn one on and the F word is flying every 2 seconds, and then there's some like a Jerry Seinfeld that's very PG. Like there's very different kinds of comedy. I realized that the other night watching. Like you'll notice about the first 5 minutes in.
Yeah, and like it even sounds like I'm not defending the guy at all, but like old Louis C.K. Like I listened to every Louis C.K. album for a long time, and his comedy. And you want to talk about crude stuff, but like there's so many going back, and I'm sure Matt can talk to some of these. Like I grew up in the late 90s when I first got into comedy. Guys like Chris Rock and Martin Lawrence that were kind of the pioneers to me. And obviously I went back and watched like Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and even like old Bill Cosby stuff that was super clean, and Sam Kinison, guys like that
George Carlin back in
George Carlin,
70s,
Rodney
man.
Dangerfield. I mean, I love all those guys.
Some of the real OGs, like yeah, I mean, like those are more some of the ones that I kind of grew up on, like you said, with Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence in the late '90s, that kind of stuff, and like
the original
Eddie Murphy.
comedy,
Yeah, Eddie Murphy was my all-time favorite. There's no doubt about that. But
okay,
yeah, I mean, like if we're doing, you said top three, correct?
Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Top three for me. Well, I gave it away number one. We'll start. I guess at three for me. It'd probably be hard pressed for me to beat Bill Burr. I like Bill Burr a lot.
He's my number one.
Is
he
really?
number one?
Bill Burr's his stand-up is outstanding, but like when you hear him in interviews, he's been on KFC radio, on Barstool a lot. That guy is hilarious. He's just a funny human being, and his outlook on life is
you want
so
a really
real.
good look,
like,
and
he's just
Matt,
so down to
add to
earth.
that, his show on Netflix, F is for Family, is incredible.
His mind is just he's just hilarious. But if you want to listen to a good podcast with him, it's Bill and Bert. It's who am I thinking of? Bert Kreischer and
oh yeah, that guy
Bill
funny as
Burr.
hell,
Sorry, I just blanked on names. Yeah, they do it's kind of like they sit and like smoke cigars and like drink whiskey or whatever and do a podcast. But they've done like 5 or 6 of them, and it's just like cool the stories that they have about like they just talk about like touring and stuff like that.
No, I go Bill Burr 3, and one other thing about him, he goes to like every NBA arena.
Yeah.
I think been to
that I find is very cool about that. But number 2, back growing up, is going to be probably Adam Sandler.
Great choice.
His comedy albums that he had in the mid
Some people
'90s
forget.
were like, dude, I put those on, and I would listen to those on repeat just over and over. And my buddies and I would be listening to them in our cars, like just on the CD player.
I'm very Catholic, and
we
I
could
know
quote
every
the whole
word of
thing,
the Hanukkah
dude.
song because
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, I mean, we could quote the entire albums, dude. Toll Booth Willie, some of the
Lunch
skits,
Lady
those
Land.
things, dude. Yeah, I mean, like it's just the best, dude. So for me, that's got to be up there. His role in movies. Zach, you got something to say about Adam Sandler? I can
Well,
tell.
it's one of those things you almost forget, like that he did stand-up comedy. Like it's
Yeah.
a lot of those guys. Like I was watching Kevin James last night. Like you almost forget that those guys.
You're
Tim
absolutely
Allen.
right. They do so much. They do so much when they're doing sitcoms. They're doing movies. They're doing stand-up. They're doing radio. They're doing podcasts
anymore.
Those guys are so talented, man. Some of them like just do so much stuff. They're in production in a lot of ways. Number 1, I gave away Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy in Trading Places and Coming to America, are probably my 2 favorite movies of all time. Eddie Murphy Raw, his stand-up was the greatest special in my opinion of all time. Delirious was good too. I don't know. His stuff in the '80s was better than everybody else's that's ever been done. The bottom line.
I started watching a little Mitch Hedberg the other day, and the way his comedy was, like his, I think Chance said he passed away in 2005, so I never really was into comedy when he was right there. But like I started listening to some of it yesterday, and it's just like the humor is so dry, but like
I got a
so
question
hilarious.
for you.
The
I got a question
one-liners.
for you guys. You guys being a little more into like the newer age comedy and comedians out there. And I guess this is super new age, but like I used to like the roasts that they did on Comedy Central.
100%.
Like
Jeff Ross.
100%.
But
Jeff Ross' stand-up is actually hilarious.
Yeah, like he's really good on those roasts. But Pete Davidson, I saw him on one. He was making like jokes about 9/11 because his dad, I guess, passed away at 9/11, and like he uses that in his routine. What's your guys' take on him? Because I thought he was hilarious there. I thought he was really funny in those roasts, but like outside of that, I haven't been like super impressed.
Wait, Jeff Ross?
No, Pete Davidson.
I think he's kind of funny on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I like Pete Davidson, and he's a different cat. But I think his stand-up is pretty good. I wouldn't say he like cracks my top 10 or even my top 10 right now, but like I do enjoy his stand-up. But he's kind of like you talked about, all those guys that like Sandler who did so much media. He's turned into more of a media kind of guy, and he just released a new stand-up on Netflix, which I need to get to this week. but he's kind of turning into that multimedia, and he's like best friends with Machine Gun Kelly and doing music videos and movies and stuff. So like the fact that he was a stand-up comedian has kind of gotten away from some people. So I'm a fan.
Guys, this is like not really stand-up comedy, but David Spade's new show, Lights Out.
Love it. Watch every episode.
I haven't seen it. Heard good things,
the guests he has on are a lot of stand-up comedians, pretty much just stand-up comedians. And
Zach, I'm pretty sure you're a fan, but like Matt, do you ever listen to Nick Swartzen stand-up comedy?
I haven't. I know. I mean, I know.
It's so funny.
It's been a while since he's putting out new stuff.
You know what else I like? God, it's pretty. Like last few years that Hannibal Buress. That dude's pretty.
Oh, I love Hannibal Buress.
That guy's pretty funny.
So if you guys got any stand-up specials for
Andrea Savage too.
I forgot Savage. One. I actually forgot.
What's her show? Have you seen her show? I forgot which one it is. Andrea Savage. What the hell's it called? God damn it, it's really good. I think it's called I'm Sorry. I'm Sorry.
Who's this?
Andrea Savage. She's a really funny comedian. She was on Veep with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, I've not seen it.
Super funny. She's hilarious, dude. Check her out too,
dude. And I forgot 2 stand-up comedians that I've seen live that are definitely like my 4 and 5. Aziz Ansari, who was for a while my favorite comedian, and he's kind of turned into more of a media. He has the show Master of None, and I know he's had his issues, and I'm just talking pure stand-up. And then also my favorite kind of what I call like blue collar comedian is Ron White, without a doubt. And I think I tend to, my list is definitely a little bit more of a crude genre, probably not very super kid friendly, but I definitely round out my top 5, I think.
So you said if you got any comedy specials for me to watch over the
you got to go through yours, Zach.
I guess it'd be like I said, Bill Burr's my number 1. Who else am I a fan of?
While you're thinking, Zach, Matt, I have to throw a stat out to you.
What?
I said while you're thinking, Zach, I got to throw a stat out to Matt that me and you actually heard last night. Were you aware that Jeff Foxworthy sold more comedy albums than Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor did combined?
Holy come on.
But
yeah.
Jeff Foxworthy?
Does that also
remember how big he was in the 90s?
Does that count like what he sold with the Blue Collar Tour?
No, you might be a red.
He was doing like over the phone CD sales, like on commercials and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be an 800 number. You call and order a CD. Like that guy was everywhere.
Redneck album, just that album alone, I believe, sold more copies. And you got to remember, like the '90s was kind of the comedy boom, and things took off. And especially like in some parts of like Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy were just chastised for how crude they were.
Well, you look at Bob Saget. He was Danny Tanner on Full House, and one of the crudest comedians that you'd ever come across. Like it's the perfect parallel.
Like Jeff Foxworthy was not that. He was he never swore. It was all about blue collar people and making redneck jokes. But yeah, that's insane. And I'll admit, I was a Jeff Foxworthy fan when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. I love the blue collar stuff. I love Larry the Cable Guy. Don't get me wrong, but that's insane to think that Jeff Foxworthy outsold 2 of the legends in state. And I'm a big, all those guys in blue collar. Bill Engvall was my favorite comedian growing up and very clean cut. Obviously he's super problematic now, but like the Bill Cosby, I think it's just called Bill Cosby himself. That was like, I owned that on VHS when I was like 6 years old. Now, obviously looking back, he's obviously a pretty terrible person, but like as a 6-year-old, that was the first stand-up comedy I was introduced to. And he didn't say a swear word the entire time. It's just very different. But there is so much good stuff to get into.
Yeah, I would say actually my favorite comedian is Craig Ferguson. I'm a big Craig Ferguson. I liked his stand-up a lot. Not stand-up. His late night show when he was doing that. I think he actually is my favorite late night host of all time.
Really?
I think that I don't know. I guess I wouldn't go on a rant about it, but I think he's better than like 3/4 of the people that are doing late night right now. I think late night's kind of weak right now.
I actually like Jimmy Kimmel more than I like Jimmy Fallon.
I like Jimmy Kimmel. I like Jimmy Fallon, but I don't know. It's just a lot to take in when you're watching.
He gets to be
not a big Seth Meyers fan. Not really.
No, not at all.
I would say I'm not a big Conan O'Brien fan either.
I can't stand Conan O'Brien.
Jimmy Kimmel's pretty much the only one I would actually watch, and I don't watch. But if Craig Ferguson, I think he had like a game show or something. But he's one of my favorite comedians. He's hilarious.
You guys ever listen to Robin Williams stand-up comedy?
I've never actually sat down and listened to a full. I've seen the movies, but I've never really sat. Like I said, that's one of those things. It's Robin Williams, but you forget sometimes with the comedy and stand-up when they become big movie stars.
Yeah. Get on YouTube this weekend.
I know. I looked up like a top 10 or top 15 of all time, and it was like
I could probably go 25 deep in mine.
So, but we'll get more into this kind of stuff over the next few weeks as we. I don't know if we watch every stand-up special of all time. I don't know. We got a lot of time without sports, boys. A lot of time. So, my question to you is, what are you guys watching? What are you watching? What have you guys been watching over the last few days? I'll go first. Stand-up comedy. We just talked about it. So
that's an easy out there.
So what have you guys been watching? Any new series, new movies?
Yes,
I don't know. What have you guys been trying to do to keep yourself sane?
Confession tapes. I just finished that about people who have confessed to crimes they may or may not have committed and kind of went through how crazy their interrogations were. I watched all 2 seasons very, very quickly. Loved it. Highly recommend it if you're into like crime, drama stuff. It's pretty wild stuff. So I would definitely recommend that. I've got a ton of other stuff, but I'll let Matt go ahead.
Matt, you got anything? What do you?
I've actually been. My wife and I've been watching the Marvel movie series. So we started that a while ago, kind of just like in our free time, which has been few and far between with a kid and a busy wife, and I've been working extra lately too. So we haven't been sticking on that, but I want to get back on that. Been listening to a lot of podcasts too, because like with working and stuff, you just like throw a podcast on, great background sound. So been doing a lot of podcast listening. So make sure all those people listen to this in podcast form too after you watched on YouTube, so you get a daily dose twice. Give us the YouTube view, give us the podcast play, give it to us all. Give it to us all. Come on, refresh it, download it. Yeah, you got nothing else to do. Don't listen to it after you listen to it once. Just keep recycling it. But I'd probably say there's a bunch of like Netflix docs that I want to watch, so I get caught up there. Watch some of the old 30 for 30s. Saw a trailer for the Bulls 30 for 30.
Wish they would push that one up.
I can't wait for that one. Yeah, that's one we could use in place to like give us a little flaming Yoda now on while we're eating cans of beans and shit right now.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
I've got one that this has been a long time since I've watched, and if you have time, you're locked in the house, you need to watch Breaking Bad. It's to me the best show I've ever watched.
Best show hands down.
Yep.
We've got a consensus. Greatest show ever made. Breaking Bad. I
easily.
Completely agree with completely agree with you boys.
The best put together show of all time.
Yep. Greatest ending of a television show, I think.
From beginning to end. Great.
Yeah. I always have The Office on, so you can't go wrong with The Office. I could watch that.
The thing with The Office,
I think I'm on my 9th or 10th cycle of the series, so that's my go-to.
The Office is like in my normal rotation of shows. Like I'm trying to watch shows I won't watch a lot. Like, you almost have to take it as like something that we will never see again, but almost like a sports off season. Like you have 3 months to watch as much stuff as you can that's non-sports related until sports are back in full force. Once it comes back, boys, it's going to be crazy.
Might have to jump on that Love is Blind, too, because that looks like mindless hate watching it. My wife says it was, she said it was like watching a train wreck. She couldn't stop it. Could not stop watching.
Where do you guys sit? And we might have talked about this before. Like, have you guys ever watched Parks and Rec? I know we're all Office guys.
I'm going to start.
Never got into it. I've got a friend at work. I've got a friend at work who I respect her opinion heavily on television and movies and stuff. She's like audibly upset that I haven't watched Parks and Rec.
It's amazing.
That's one of the,
I get a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, people don't like that take. I'm not a big fan.
I like it.
I'm starting Always Sunny. I've watched little bits of it, but I'm going to start from the first episode, watch it all. Did a Twitter poll today. Actually,
Charlie Day is one of my favorite TV characters.
I watched the first 4 or 5 seasons of that show just on repeat, and for some reason I just stopped. I didn't hate it. I didn't stop liking it. I don't know why.
You know why? Because of sports. Because of sports, man. That's why we almost stopped watching every show, and for 3 months, that cannot be our excuse.
It's not my downfall. It's not my downfall. We can get past this.
We can get past the sports while they're not here. I miss them. But if you got anything else you want to send to us, we'll be going through. We'll recycle these segments here for the next few weeks of what you watching, because we got a lot of time to watch shows over the next few weeks. But if you got time, go over to @typical_Chicago. We got the TCF great debate. We got the candy bracket going on. A lot of debating going on. We got our guy Matt, who did the whole thing, right, Matt?
Yeah,
you are a bracket genius.
Put the bracket together. I don't know about genius, but it was fun to do. I like doing that kind of stuff. It's fun to see everyone's interactions with it. I got a buddy who's listening to the show who I'm not going to call him out by name. You know what? Fuck it, I am. Damien, you're an idiot. You said dots are better than Twix.
My God.
The absolute most outlandish,
I was 9.
The most outlandish, most preposterous take I've ever heard in my life. I'm in a group text with him.
Dots are so weird to eat.
I'm in a group text with him and 2 of my other buddies, and he threw that out, I think, on Sunday morning and got absolutely barbecued in the group text.
I'm thoroughly convinced they haven't produced a box of dots since 2003. They just keep recycling.
I'm not going to lie. The 16s and 15s were all jokes. I put them all in there because they're jokes. And the fact that somebody picked one of those over Twix and tried to make an argument about it is mind-blowing to me.
How could someone sit down and eat a giant box of dots? How would you?
We got to give him credit. We do have to give him credit. He listens to every episode. So, so we'll give him credit there.
We did have.
Hey, we're all idiots here. We're all idiots here. That doesn't make us.
He's a candy connoisseur, though, too. And it's this mind-blowing take that he has that a dot.
Can he really be considered a connoisseur if he eats?
It's in question.
My thing is just you eat one and you're just this ruined my day.
Matt,
it's like the way you have to eat it.
Cling to your teeth.
Yeah.
They cling to your teeth for months. It's 8 weeks later.
What? If we're gonna get into that, Swedish fish, I hate them.
Yep.
I hate Swedish fish. Somebody said bring them out, put them on there. Do you know how annoying it is to eat this? Have you ever ate a Swedish fish? You go, man, that was easy.
You ever had one of those circus peanuts?
Oh!
Ever had one of those?
Take it.
You ever eat chalk? You ever had a piece of chalk?
You take it the fuck easy. I like circus peanuts.
Wait, what? What? The circus peanut?
My grandpa used to.
You couldn't pay me to eat a circus peanut.
My grandpa loves those.
He used to give. For some reason, it's an acquired taste. I'm not saying I'm proud of it.
It's an acquired taste of trash.
Hey, you know what? People like horseradish too, and that shit smells awful. So I always say it's an acquired taste. I also like black licorice. Man.
Oh my God!
You do?
Well, like I said, as a young child. A guy who works for my dad.
You like black licorice?
Why do you think I like Jaeger? I don't like it.
Are you
but
kidding
I used to
me?
eat it.
Are you kidding me?
No one drinks Jaeger for the taste.
I don't mind. A guy who used to work for my dad worked at the road, and he would have some. I'm not saying I would. I guess I said I like it, but I could eat it.
Knocked me to the floor with that one, dude. You knocked me to the floor.
Well, I haven't had it in 5 years.
Black licorice.
Yeah,
not
that bad.
Black
licorice. I'd rather eat a circus peanut than black licorice.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, what is the matter with him?
Should we end the show right now?
Oh.
Why don't you wash it down with one of those wax Coke bottles, too? The fuck is the matter with you guys, man? Circus peanuts?
One person. What's the problem, Matt? Why we got such a problem with the candy that I like?
I don't know, man. Just when you think you know somebody.
I didn't know Matt was so damn judgmental about candy.
I will come to Matt's defense. He's never judged us on anything until today.
Yeah, I didn't know candy was where he stood his ground.
But my God, I'm throwing 15s and 16s out, literally trying to fish out zeros. Like I was trying to get zeros in the pool, and none of them got a zero at all. Like it's. All right. Hey, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I don't know if you got out of your seat. I don't know if you're.
I fell out of my chair. Like at that one, I couldn't even sit up straight after I hear that. I just had to slink to the ground, like when Chris Jenkins hit a 3 in my face and Villanova won the national title.
All right.
That's what it felt
Boomy,
like.
you got a wacky web story?
I sure do, and I found a piece.
There was a guy who liked circus peanuts running down the street.
Oh man!
Because they're maniacs.
Zach,
I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be judgmental. The world's like ending. I'm giving you a hard time over circus peanuts. I should stop.
All right. Well, I have found a woman, and we talked about coronavirus, obviously, for like the first 20 minutes of the show. But I found a woman who I want severely incarcerated for a very long time. And it's a woman who claims to be a clout chaser. She is a 22-year-old aspiring influencer, and I don't think they've given her name. Oh, yeah, Ava Louise. And she has posted a video, and I think it was on TikTok, called the Coronavirus Challenge, where this absolute maniac, and Zach, hold on to your chair because this is going to make you uncomfortable. She licked a plain toilet seat.
What?
And posted it on TikTok.
People would do too much for views.
She licked the toilet seat of an airplane and posted it on social media.
Is she in jail?
She's still be for the rest of her life.
If she's not, that is the worst case of pre-crime I've ever seen.
That's gross.
Like, lock her up now. Just lock her up now because you know inevitably she will commit some heinous crime against society.
Some crime against humanity. What a lunatic.
Disgusting.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I saw this and I thought it couldn't be. I can't bring myself to watch the video. But, like,
you know what?
Psycho.
You reap what you sow. You know what? I'm sorry. If she withers away from some disease that floats on the top of toilet seats that no one else in the world ever contracts because no one else in the world licks toilet seats, then so be it. That's just, the way life works, I guess.
Breaking news, Packers starting linebacker Blake Martinez just signed with the New York Giants. That hurts.
Whoa, that's too bad. You hate to see it.
That sucks.
To see it.
Hurts a little.
Just hate to see
I
it.
love Blake Martinez.
Apparently the Packers did not.
Damn shame. Show them the money. Hey, but we got Trevathan back.
I did like that. That's a good signing.
I like that. I like that move too. I like that move a lot.
He snapped his arm.
People
That's why
forget
he
that.
wasn't there at the end of the year. That's why they lost.
That season it doesn't matter anyway. Basically, sports got erased in 2020, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you can only really say that for like at least our basketball.
All right, fine. Real quick conversation on the spot pop quiz. If you had to coronavirus one season of sports, so one action, one activity, one game, one happen, and you could just erase 1 year of sports, which one are you taking the eraser to?
Derrick Rose tore his ACL.
Ooh, I like it. That's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I would do like all of the seasons between like 2000 and 2006 for the Chicago Bulls.
That's a very large brush that you just done.
Did you hear what he said?
Like the Tim Floyd Bowl,
I'm
just a
taking
ring.
on the
I understand that, but then somebody's like, "Hey, pick a season." You're like, "Can I have like the whole
6
franchise's
years.
like?"
Can I have the
dynasty?
Millennium, actually, please?
Yeah, like Tim Floyd Bowls was just unbearable.
I would love to change like the last
They
10
were.
years.
The 2012 Chicago Cubs, maybe.
Okay.
That team is bad.
The Derrick Rose one, yeah, that one, yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I would probably
Like in Cubs, there's really nothing you would really want back though.
all the bad in my Cubs world got wiped away with 16. So
Right.
I don't have to I don't know, and even the Bartman game and the 2003 season, that one was the worst forever, and then but I don't know, that one would be good. 03 or the like I mentioned a minute ago, the Chris Jenkins game against Carolina. That one just didn't happen. That'd be just fine with me.
Hey, speaking of that, Matt, no one will ever speak of this North Carolina season. One of the
Hate
worst.
to see that one too.
One of the
I don't
worst.
know what season.
One of the worst